Hello friends and welcome back for another episode of Indie Impressions. My name is Nick and today we're going to be checking out a very cool little puzzle platformer called Babel with very similar presentation qualities to that of Fez, and I hate to start off with such a direct comparison like that, but it's kind of unavoidable in this case. The game is very similar. It's going to be that we're going to be turning around a two-dimensional set of planes attached to a three-dimensional cube, essentially, to be finding our way through all of these various nooks and crannies that make up the levels. But in this case, the presentation is a little bit different in that in Fez, we had an open world style thing where we could go in and out of various areas to hub worlds and such. In this case, it's just broken up into levels, which I think is actually kind of a nice bite-sized style of way to put across something like the concept put forth in Fez. Anyway, let's look at the options real quick and we will get started and give it a go. So there's the controls, there's move left, move right, jump, action, rotate left and right, and I have this all mapped to my 360 controller via Joy to Key, one of my favorite little free applications, or at least it used to be free. I'm not sure if it still is anymore, but that's going to make navigating these spaces probably substantially easier. As you can see here, even the title screen takes advantage of the movement convention in this particular set. So let's start it up, and we'll be presented with stage 1 here. So first thing I want to notice, music, absolutely just tranquil, wonderful. It totally puts you in the mood to do a little bit of puzzle solving, and it doesn't get the blood pressure up or anything. This is kind of nice. It doesn't feel like there's a lot of pressure on you. You just take your time and take in the environment and such. So pick up all the diamonds, jump into the teleporter, says the sign painter. Of course, that's how it starts. It's never that easy long term. But there is our jumping radius, so you can get a good idea of how far I can make it across, and that seems to be about my limit. 1 block up, 2 blocks over seems to be what we want to make note of here. I do like how those diamonds seem to break the two-dimensional space just to sort of remind you that it's not all about the 2D, because, well, we're going to see very soon, it's very much not all about the 2D. The teleporter is activated once you collect all the diamonds. Very simple to understand that. I've certainly seen that convention done in a few games, and there you go. If you want to see what the level looks like in all 3 dimensions, I've just been rotating us around in a circle here. So first level, very, very simple stuff. I played about 5 minutes-ish of this just to get a feel for it. The difficulty curve does seem perhaps like it might be a little bit all over the place, but it also might be because they're introducing a number of new mechanics as we get started at the beginning here. So eyes kill you if they see you, avoid being killed. Probably very good advice, that I would say. So what that means in terms of gameplay mechanics is, by see you, if I run into this thing, like if I jump into it right here, it sees me because I'm going to fall in front of that eye. So we have to take into account that we're going to be thinking about everything in terms of 3 dimensions the whole time that we're doing it. So right now, if I were to jump next to this eye, it would not see me because it is facing right at this point. So hopefully that's fairly clear. But now we can use that to jump over here and get to the next teleporter. It's another level completed. I'm not sure quite how long this game is, but there were a good variety of different environments, and they got surprisingly more complex as I got into, like, stage 4 and 5 and 6. So you want to beware of slugs, says the sign painter. No problem. They're basically analogs to the Super Meat Boy maggots. In fact, I guess you could kind of make some parallels between that in a few different ways. This is a bunch of little, like, mishmash, probably not directly intentionally put in homages, but I also see a little bit of, like, Six-Sided Sanctuary, and maybe, I'm sure people will probably come to the conclusion, Minecraft, because grass blocks and dirt and all that, but whatever. Anyway, we're gonna go and explore this tree now, and this is kind of where it starts to open up a little bit. Things start to go in sort of like the Y-axis a little bit more, and then we're gonna be using this in a more creative way. So if you cannot reach the next platform, try pressing Z. Well, in my case, I'm going to be using left and right bumper, but that's just sort of the way that goes. And at the top left corner, in case you didn't notice, there is an indicator that says how many diamonds we need to find. And it says we can't read the sign from this side, so you do have to keep in mind our orientation is going to matter. So feeling adventurous, press X then. So they're kind of like stepping you through the process of navigating this tree. And this is also important to note. If you find yourself kind of flattened out in the 2D dimension, that's going to be a problem for you. You're not going to have a good time like that. It's going to basically reset whatever's going on. And so we're going to have to find a way that does not put us behind that block and in fact puts us in front. Another thing is, like, it's not totally obvious the first time you do it, but like these green parts are the parts that we can step on, the other parts we cannot. So we just need to kind of take that into account when we're mapping out visually the space that we can occupy. And that's also another thing. I forgot there's falling damage in this, so if we want to be a little bit more careful, maybe don't fall more than about, 4 blocks, and we should be okay. So let's take on this tree scenario. It's not going to be the roughest puzzle, but I just got to remember what order to take these platforms in. This is one thing that I found really creative in Fez, was the way that this whole, you know, the blending of the 2D and the 3D worked. And I know that's very much the gimmick that made the game exciting and popular, but it also was just really creative and just really something I hadn't seen done before. So it's very exciting to me that there's other thought going on in this kind of a convention, and I'm sure there's plenty more puzzles that just haven't been created in this idea. So this is really the only other game that I've ever seen really use this concept in a meaningful way. And also I want to mention, like, what's up, the blending of different visual motifs is kind of funny to me. Like, the character reminds me a lot of something from, like, Atari 2600 or that era, but maybe, like, a little bit nicer looking. Like, it's somewhere between that and Nintendo, but I'm not really sure exactly where. But then the background and the ground and then the diamonds, they all seem to operate in sort of slightly different realms in terms of their graphical aesthetic, but that's alright. It's kind of part of the, you know, motif, I guess, that maybe we're blending a lot of things together. So too many slugs, get creative. Not going to be too much of a problem for me because I understand how this 2D, 3D thing works. Flatten it all out, slugs are gone, and that level is real easy. I really like how when you go into the exit, too, that it sort of, like, opens up and starts, it takes the camera sort of off its axis so you can see all the different, you know, areas around you and maybe even give you a slightly better idea of how things look in an actual 3D realm. Also strange to see that old man kind of flattened out on that axis like that. Alright, so now we're going to get into a little bit more complex stuff. We've got this house with a lock on it. I forgot my key at the back of the house, so if we want to turn around, we should be able to see, there's the key right there, but the slug is going to be right in the way. And it seems to patrol only in a spot that's going to put it right in the way of me progressing past it. So we're going to have to just jump over the slug. Although, actually, I think I was just on the opposite side. I turned myself around. Made this more complicated than it needed to be. So we'll go around, grab the key. This is all dead zone. We can't walk on any of that stuff, so we're going to turn around the other way, perhaps. And go through here, unlock the door. And there we go. Now we can actually do that very typical Fez thing of sort of transporting through a surface. Wow, alright, that kind of confused me there. Transporting through a surface, something, you know, with depth, by just opening up a door frame, and then we can just come out on the other side. It's kind of a neat thing. I always enjoyed when that happened in the game, and it's put to very good use at different times. And I think this will be about the last level that I want to show off, because I'm not sure how much more there is to the game, and this one was rather creative. In this one, we actually have a whole castle to explore, and it's not massive or anything, but it certainly is larger in scope than the prior levels that we've been looking at, and it seems like things just keep ramping up in that sort of direction. So what started out as reasonably flat, now all of a sudden we've got a whole bunch of different angles of action that we need to proceed with. Can I reach that jump? I'm not entirely... Yeah, I can, actually. Alright, so we're just going to scale up this wall and get as high up on the castle as we can, and then we're going to turn around, and there's a diamond over here, and that should allow me to grab that, turn around, go in the other direction. There's another diamond over here, so then we just need to keep that same concept going. Oh, there's a couple more over here. I should be able to reach them, and those are actually, I think, the end of them. So now I just need to find the teleporter. The first time I did this, it took way, way longer for some reason. I guess I had kind of gotten myself a little bit stuck or flustered or turned around. That's one thing, like, you kind of don't realize it from watching it because I went through this fairly intuitively. But if you find yourself stuck in a moment of not understanding where you fit into the dynamism of this thing turning in a circle, all of a sudden things might be very disorienting and confusing, but, you know, that's part of the fun, I suppose. It's sort of like a, you know, mind warp type of thing. It's a different type of puzzle, I'll say. So that's the end of that. I guess I should probably wrap things up at this point. Like I said, I don't want to get too far ahead, and I do like the fact that we're getting into some very different types of levels, and this sort of begs the question, like, this would probably go very well with a level editor, right? I mean, this seems like a thing that lots of different people could have their own ideas of how to make, and these puzzles, like, they always boggle my mind, like, how do people come up with these things? I guess it's a lot of play testing, but, you know, could be a bit of a difficult journey to come up with an idea and actually execute it the way that you want it executed. But that could be, you know, part of the fun as well if you are into level design. I think that was about as far as I could go with that particular fall without getting myself killed. Oh, alright, so there's the diamond on that. I guess I should probably... Alright, I'll just grab that, and then we'll call it a day on Babel. So, overall, impressions, very, very positive. I really enjoy this game. Despite the fact that it very much borrows from another concept, who's to say which came first, I guess, right? I mean, I guess I could probably just look at the date this was created, but then again, there's always room for more exploration, different concepts, and the fact that this has a very different presentation style in that it is, broken up into levels, like I mentioned earlier, kind of opens it up for more potential different environments and things that aren't quite so interconnected as they were in Fez. So go give it a download if you'd like. Let me know what you think in the comments. The game is totally free, by the way, so it's not like there's any barrier to entry on this one. And let me know how long it is, actually, because I'm kind of curious on that, if you want to keep playing on into this one. I only am stopping because I just don't want to spoil all the puzzles, but honestly, like, I'd probably just keep playing this if I was playing this on stream or something, so it's rather addictive, I have to say, as well. And it's also not prohibitively difficult from what I could tell, too, but maybe it gets that way as we get further in. Anyway, let me know what you think again in the comments. Leave a like if you don't mind. It really helps me out. Spread the word about indie games if you'd like. I do appreciate it. And, of course, I do this show every single day, so if you're interested, feel free to come back again tomorrow. New episodes go up all the time, like I said, every single day. And I do have a website, of course, for the series, too, with 700-plus episodes, all categorized and sorted, indie-impressions.com, and that's in the description with the game download, as well as my other community link. So if you want to find out more about me or the series, that's all right in there. So hopefully I'll see you again tomorrow. Thank you so much for watching, and it'll be a fantastic night. I'll talk to you later.